This is Sam from Uniondale, and you're tuning in to another edition of the Sam I Analyze Show. Folks, the Knicks season is over. Where do they go from here? Let's analyze. This game was a surprise, but not really. Because I expected Jalen Brunson, and I thought Cat, especially after Game 5, they would go out there and represent and do their thing. But obviously, there's another professional team on the other side, and obviously, you've got a guy in Carlisle who I believe was the better coach in the series, right? That's what I believe. And he had a genius game plan. They blitzed Cat. They blitzed Brunson. They double-teamed them. They were like, anybody but them will beat us tonight. And Brunson, to me, had one of the worst games as a Knick in the playoffs that I can remember, other than he did struggle against the Sixers last year, the first two games, and everybody was like, what's going on? And then he activated and did his thing. For the most part, tonight was, it was not really a JB game. And Cat either. I mean, 60% from the free throw line, 0 for 4 from 3. Not a Cat-like performance at all. And look, it happens, right? For the most part, it was close until the third quarter. And then they blew the roof off the game. Now, a few things stood out, right? I felt like the Knicks, they got back in the series. They won Game 5. Tibbs, his hand was forced. I think he I don't know if it came up from higher up or what have you, but, upper management, or if it was him. I don't give him that credit because I feel like Tibbs is too stubborn in playing more than an 8-man rotation. As a matter of fact, in the postgame, he made reference to the fact that Landry Shamet was indeed in the rotation, and I'm like, really, Tibbs? But anyway, one thing that I wished we could have seen is possibly a Precious Achua. And look, or I said, or try an Ariel Hukporti, who's a 7-footer who can move a little bit on a guy who's destroying you in a Pascal Siakam. And he never played Precious. And that, to me, made zero sense, y'all. That, to me, made zero sense. I didn't get it because even Karl Anthony Towns at the end of Game 5, he was like, look, yeah, play Precious some. Cat played the most minutes, 38 minutes, and he had, look, it will not surprise me in the next few days that you're hearing Karl Anthony had a bad thumb, he needed surgery, broken finger, and he possibly had a torn MCL or sprain or something like that, because the way any movement he made, he was barely able to move. And if that's the case, that explains a lot. Not running back, and I would not be surprised if Carlisle on purpose, once they score, throw that ball. Go down, we're going downfield because they can't move. I would not be surprised, y'all, because it looked so bad. But that's neither here nor there. The Knicks are done. But the Knicks are going to have a golden opportunity here to make some moves, make some changes, right? Possibly. It's a little bit of the perfect storm. I got a question for you guys. Is Tibbs the guy to lead the Knicks to the championship? Or is management going to say, no, it's a wrap? Mike Malone is out there, who's a champion. I don't know, right? Mike Malone, I think Tibbs has not lost the locker room and everything like that, and he's loyal to a fault, no question about it. But I don't know if the Mike Malone thing would go. But I definitely think, and you've also got two superstars out there. One aging in Kevin Durant, who's going to be 37 late September, I think it's the 29th. Is he possibly going to? I think he's leaving the Suns for sure. But would the Knicks be a viable destination? I think Houston is an option for sure. You're hearing the Timberwolves, but KD is out of there. Or does he want to come here? I don't know. Depends on what the Knicks would offer. I also think, there's a player. His name escapes me. What's his name? He plays for Milwaukee. Milwaukee. He's a superstar. Giannis Antetokounmpo, y'all. He's out there. Do you turn around and is this Karl Anthony thing a 1-year trade and then you trade Karl Anthony Towns? It's going to take more than him, although I don't think it really should because he's a star in his own right. But it would probably be Cat and probably Mikal Bridges. I don't know. I just mentioned Mikal Bridges, who was up and down and wasn't, he had a wild season. But again, these teams that have made, who've won championships and everything like that, they have to go through some things, growing pains and things like that. So, I don't know if getting rid of Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, is that what it's going to take? It's probably going to take more. Do the Knicks turn around and do that, or they run it back? It's going to be very interesting. I got another question for you. Lastly, is the Villanova trio enough to win it? Can they lead the Knicks or help the Knicks win a championship? At times, I was very disappointed in Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart. This was just not his series. And I thought Tibbs, another change you could have made is maybe play Shamet more to spread the floor where they could not double up Cat and double up Brunson, because now you got another shooter out there who, boom, hit a three. But Tibbs didn't do that. He trusted Hart to a fault. But so there are a lot of questions here. It was a great year. Unfortunately, you can't beat yourself, right? You can't beat yourself. You lost game 1. You're up 10 with a minute to go. What was it, 17 with 3 minutes to go? There's no excuse for it. And to be honest with you, a lot of the Knicks' mistakes and faults just came back and bit them. The leaving guys wide open, unable to guard, pick and roll, and all this stuff. If Cat is not hurt, I'll be surprised. But if that's the case, then he might be gone. The only reason I wouldn't be so quick to trade for, I would welcome a Kevin Durant depending on what it was that we traded. But Giannis, not only would it require possibly gutting the team, which I know Leon Rose won't do, but Giannis is a superstar. Giannis is accomplished. He's a champion. He's a 2-time MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Is he going to come here when this is Brunson's team, and are they going to vibe well and work? See, that's a big thing. Some people, he's Giannis, so, Brunson's going to have to fall in line. Yeah, I don't know. And, I don't know about all that. So if that's the case, maybe the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns looks like he's a great teammate, and I'm not saying that's not the case with Giannis, but there've been times, Giannis is accomplished, and I don't think he's going to fall back and, he's our captain. I don't know about all that. So that's something to factor in. So I don't know, but this changes will be coming, but possibly, I think the Knicks can do little things, right? Like maybe go back and try to get Dante DiVincenzo back. And then maybe also an Alec Burke, and, it's certain things like that the Knicks can possibly do to help shore up that bench, and then there's a guy out there, he's older, but you can possibly get him back in Bogdanovich. He didn't play all year, but he played very well for this team. Could be a solid backup, especially if you lose a Precious Achiuwa. Like, I'm thinking, because also remember there's a threshold, right? There's a first and second apron, and the Knicks are fiscally responsible. So don't be so quick to be like, nah. You want to go back and really look at how they played for the Knicks, and it might not be as expensive to get those guys and keep this team. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if they just run it back and get a few pieces. Maybe guys develop and become, part of the rotation. But it's going to be very interesting. I know, Knicks fans, we did not want to see the season end like this. And again, it goes back to losing game one, because you win game one, the Pacers win this game, you're still going to game seven. And the Knicks learned a really hard lesson here. You've got to close out, and you can't beat yourself. And this team all year played at times dumb basketball and made these mistakes. But what say you, Knicks fans? What do you want to see done? What you heard what I laid out here. What should the Knicks do? Let me know in the comments. Now it's that time. The Dodgers place a protective netting after a concrete slab hits a fan. Wow. I'd like to thank you for tuning in, folks. I'm on most social media platforms at SamIAnalyze. Please like, share, subscribe, and you see that notification bell to the right. Please click on that. That will let you know the next time I drop another video. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, à tout à l'heure.